Today, we're going to be talking about Disney's too woke stance, as the CEO has gotten a lot of criticism for going too far left on the political field. Just a spoiler for this video, we're picking apart the controversy, seeing where this all started, and what it'll mean for the land of dreams. So if you're ready to find out what the big man upstairs has issued out, let's get into it. First up, Disney has become too woke. Well, we doubt that Mr. Walt would be rushing to get out of his ice chamber over this, but that's not for us to say. These allegations have, of course, been building up because of the polarizing political laws being passed out left, right, and center. And now they've led to Disney CEO Bob Chapek defending the company against the allegations. Most recently, at the Wall Street Journal's Tech Live 2022 streaming event. When asked about it, Chapek said their message is the company's North Star, and that Disney's creative projects are meant to reflect the rich, diverse world people live in. They're not trying to hide the colors of the wind, if you will. And honestly, guys, if that's the world we know is around us, why should they try? He went on to specify that Disney is a company that has survived for 100 years by listening to its audience, and it will thrive for the next 100 years by doing so again. Come on, you can't tell us that isn't logical at least. Even Peter Pan realized that normal humans needed to grow and change. We've been getting these messages since animations were made one by one, so of course, the content they release now is more out there because it should be. Look, being political is one thing, but if they can show us the shining, shimmering, splendid world, we welcome them to do right. What do you guys think? Next up, when did this drama start? We're sure some of you already know the answer, but for those that don't, it was a sunny day when another controversial law was passed. And yes, this is the nicest way we can phrase that, but more clearly, the company has actually been under criticism for a few years now. We know, shocking, isn't it? Some critics have said that Disney's push for more diversity and cultural representation goes too far to the left on the political spectrum, because that's definitely more important than just creating a movie with a talking rat for the whole family, right? Still, some have recently criticized the announcement of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which starred a black Disney princess, and that is now coming to both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. For those of us that absolutely loved this movie about the South's passionate soul, as told mostly by frogs, this is a massive win. And what's better, this ride will replace Splash Mountain, which we know, we get it. It was loved, but guys, it was based on Song of the South, which hasn't been officially released in any form in decades because of complaints about racist depictions of African Americans. So yeah, do you get where we're coming from in saying that Tiana's magical experience could be equally better? Still, Chapek's response suggests that he sees these recent moves as necessary to fulfill the largest possible audience, and not to mention profit in the new world. Following that, could Chapek have acted too late? Alright, just to play devil's advocate here, is the CEO just performing for a stage? Look, earlier this year, Disney was late in action to say anything about the Don't Say Gay bill. Could it be that the executives are just swinging the way that'll make more profit? Well, the final answer is up to you guys, but here are our 2 cents. When the controversial bill was first released, and Disney failed to take official action, the cast of the park spoke out. They'd stated that the lack of action on the Don't Say Gay bill has failed to match the scope threat to LGBTQIA+ safety now presented. And, if you don't remember, though the cast wasn't punished because of their planned walkouts, their last march, the biggest one, wasn't completely supported. Do you see why some people are hesitant to believe that Chapek just did a 180 on these actions? And, even when he'd released an apology for this, the wording of the statement still looked neutral. Guys, as the employees came back to say, this wasn't about a political opinion or issue. This was about people, a community that had been targeted for many years and still came to celebrate the magic of Disney. So, it does seem fair that Chapek's efforts now would be taken with a huge pinch of salt. But then, where do you think this is going to go? Does Disney actually have the power to repeal a whole law? Let's talk about Disney's growing empire, because there definitely was a point in this year when we thought everything was just going to get covered in sparkles and fairy dust, which is not the worst idea we've had. Even so, Disney is not right now looking to acquire another studio or network, according to CEO Bob Chapek. He went on to say, "We have the best creative teams, brands, and franchises in the world at the WSJ Tech Live 2022 conference this Wednesday. And because of that, they're pretty happy to have the production across their channels without having to be a buyer in the open marketplace. This comes as a surprise to maybe 5 people, but the official statement is nice. But Disney's most significant content collection actually happened in the career of its previous CEO, Bob Iger. The giant closed in on a $71 billion deal for 21st Century Fox assets in 2019, after having already gotten Marvel, Pixar, and Lucasfilm. Yeah, we're not joking when we say everything could end up in pixie dust. Either way, Disney isn't looking to grab onto another studio or network, as of right now. If we had to guess, it's because keeping up with the Marvel films is easily the work of 3 whole departments. departments, but we could be projecting there. And with the large number of political dramas covering all of Hollywood these days, it makes sense they don't want to divide their attention. Or looks like they're not taking enough action. Up next, what are their plans moving forward? Well, at least production-wise, Chapek clearly answers that question and says, "Our plan is to have all of our content creation self-contained." Basically, Disney plans to become its own economy. Not gonna lie, it could be exciting to see where they might take their awesome stories if they didn't have to answer to someone else. According to Chapek, after backing up Disney's production during COVID, as we all did, the company is now coming to a point where it'll finally reach some level of confidence when it comes to producing content at the right pace. That means we could be looking at more quantity and maybe higher quality of content than ever before. And don't worry, if that happens, we'll be there to capture everything. He went on to add that they can now very carefully plan the amount of content they need for each channel, and do that without producing extra or not making enough. Doesn't that sound like a wish you'd heart make? And because of the ongoing backlash from their workers, Chapek explained that the lesson they probably always knew was that it's all about the cast, which makes us question if the CEO ever misread the room and assumed this wouldn't be the reaction to the bill. Still, he went on to say that the protests reminded him of the cast members' passion when it comes to issues like this, and that their feelings are important so they can feel accepted as part of the Walt Disney Company. Finally, Chapek plans to hold on to ESPN, and here is when we remember Disney has become a whole company, with all its flavors and choices. When asked about ESPN, activist investor Daniel Loeb of Third Point recently asked the company to spin off before backing down. Chapek clarified that Disney plans to keep the Power brand. To the sports fan, it's the most powerful brand out there, Chapek said, adding that lots of companies would love to have that. Chapek believes Disney Plus will be one of the must-have services in the streaming wars, and that not everyone who's out in the marketplace today will survive. He said it's a high-stakes operation, and that the scale is extremely important in order to thrive. Well, yeah, but don't you guys think the heart on which all of this was built could get lost at sea? Or are the execs so aware of their value that they know where the fandom's loyalty is? He also added that they plan to use Disney Plus as much more than just a movie service. They hope it'll provide customized content that would allow customers to have a thorough relationship with the company. So then, are we entering a new era of what the heart of Disney is? After connecting with its fandom, it looks like they need to adapt to new demands and political climate. But whether they stay true to the magical message of love and acceptance, that's just something we're going to wait and find out. That's a wrap on this video. Let us know what you think of Chapek's response to these controversial allegations. Is this stance actually honest? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.